This episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com and use offer code American Idol.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's American Idol After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's American Idol After Show.
Hello, AFTERBUZZ TV Nation. We all know that with 27 million weekly downloads, I thought they were cheering for us.
They are, baby. They're
cheering for somebody who actually knows how to sing.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Tonight is going to be one of those nights. Every season, we have a special, I think, Idol episode that we kind of just want to forget about. And I hate to start the show like this.
But
because tonight was the oddest night ever on Idol, and it's a night that, okay, Jason has a better word. What is it?
Off. Horrible? Horrendous?
Underwhelming, how about?
Underwhelming.
We thought at first, honestly, guys listening at home, you know, you've seen us here for seasons. We moved to a different room tonight.
I thought Idol this week was, or this season was one of the best starting out. I'm like, finally we're back in the swing of things. And tonight I was like, can anybody sing?
Guys, we're so sorry hitting you like this. Hey, I'm JC, and across from me, across the table, we have two very bitter judges here. I mean, co-hosts, starting with the lovely gentleman to my right.
Hey there, I'm Jeff Masters. Glad to be here.
And I'm Jason Ikeler.
And of course, running the ones and twos, Miss Marissa. Are you ready tonight, Marissa?
I'm ready for you guys, yes.
It's going to be a very different show. I'm telling you, for us, I literally wrote this. The most interesting part of tonight's show was wondering whether or not Jayla was going to eat that deviled egg.
That's true, because she ate that, and I was proud of her.
I'm sorry, what?
I think
you stepped out at that point.
She had an egg?
Yes, she
Was
did.
she hungry?
No, it's because Ben Briley loves deviled eggs. And after his set, Ryan came out with some deviled eggs, and he was much obliged to eat many of those eggs. And then Ryan took him to Keith and
This is sad.
Harry. And
Sad.
I know we're starting with
Sad.
this.
I think I fell asleep during that part.
You might have.
Did you notice that Ryan Seacrest entered today like he was the rock star? He's like slapping hands, he's giving autographs, he's like blowing kisses, he's taking his shirt off. And I was like, Ryan, the show's not about you.
But he's like, I'm the only good one on the show.
He's a great host.
Oh my God. You know, honestly, I even want to start with something. We'll get into the show, but I want to talk about good things. You know me, I'm team nice.
I'll say something good. Harry Connick Jr. is on point. He says exactly what everyone's thinking, and I like that he doesn't like whatever they say. Sugarcoat it. Like, he's honest.
I will only say this. 100% I agree.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was on Twitter a few hours, since we do go on the West Coast, and I was on the Twitter feed a few hours before we went on, and I stopped from tweeting it because I thought I might be out of place. I noticed that all the tweets were so negative tonight. Mm-hmm. And I literally was writing, what's with all the hate? I'm afraid for tonight. And I think America was right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I feel like people could say that Harry Connick Jr. is being mean, but it wasn't mean. It was great feedback.
Well, and he's being so technical, too. He's talking about what they're, like, vocally what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, like, stage presence and performance-wise.
I hate to say it. What's the common denominator? They're all being mentored by Randy Jackson. Randy, got to go. Bye-bye. Right? He's not giving one good form of advice.
I was listening to another podcast actually last week, and they were talking about Randy having the easiest job in the world because in a way he kind of got demoted, you know, as being a mentor, but you got to look at it this way. He's still being offered millions of dollars to just sit on that chair and offer some feedback that pretty much, and I forgot it was another podcast that mentioned it, that something that Ryan could very, very well say as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they just feel bad for him.
I mean, Randy stepped down himself, right? Or was he kicked out?
That's what they want us to think.
A little bit of
They're
both,
trying
I
to
would say.
freshen it up.
So maybe mutual agreement.
Yeah.
And he steps down. He's a mentor now. He works for a couple hours a day. He gets to go to bed early. Hey, I want that job.
Do you know what though? And I hate to bring up The Voice every week, but The Voice is the highest rated music competition show, so I feel like it's a good point.
Well-oiled machine.
But those kids are mentored by people actually making it in the industry. And if Harry or Keith or J-Lo were in their sessions when they're training, I guarantee they'd be doing better.
Okay, but question, why does nobody in The Voice come out with like best-selling records? I can only name Cassidy Pope, who like even charted remotely.
But if you look at the time since The Voice and Idol have been on at the same time from that point, none of the shows are coming out with stars except for X Factor. And that's gone.
Yeah, and to go a step further, we usually open up talking about what happened last week. And last week there was a performance by Candace Glover, who won last season. And she had the weakest debut in the history of American Idol.
She sold 3 records.
No, she sold
3.
She sold 13. It was either 13
13. She sold 13 records. That's unbelievable.
I think Justin
Jeffrey Masters
might have broke that.
I believe it was 13 or 19,000. And it was under Lee DeWise's debut.
But also, at the same time, you have to look at where the record industry is right now. And there aren't that many new artists that are just out there. You know what I mean? If you look at the artists right now today that are taking off, it's like people like Lorde or Ellie Goulding, who are super artsy, writing their own stuff.
And bizarre.
You have to be weird, or you have to be like Taylor Swift and write all your own pop hooks and really sell it. And I think that's a problem tonight. None of these artists really connected to the song. And even the kind of music Candace Glover's making, yes, her album's super good.
Was it?
But it's not something, it's a really good R&B album. It's not something that kids are going to listen to.
Because I actually do like the lead single. I do, and one of the singles, is I Cried. Candace has a gorgeous voice. She's a powerhouse, but something, I don't know if it's just years of these shows, of so many shows. We've already lost one. We are super fans of the show. Don't get us wrong. We get a lot of
that's why we care.
Opinionated mail.
Yeah, of course. But there's something about like popular music today that doesn't require great singers.
Yeah.
Rihanna, I think she has a great voice, but I only say that because she came out with Stay, which showed off her vocals, and they were really great, and I was impressed for the first time. But like Umbrella, Ella, and Diamond, Shining Bright Like a Diamond, like these didn't require great vocals.
Okay, so then basically you're reiterating what Harry Connick was saying in the very first episode. He wanted to challenge America.
Yeah.
He said that. I want you guys to go a step further in your critiques. Not these same big notes, not these same little tricks, these little runs that people do.
But even those big tricks and runs, I would argue Kelly Clarkson's one of the only current pop singers, or Pink, who's actually able to do those tricks and runs in their music. Nobody else on the radio today can do that. Ask Lana Del Rey to sing cover an Aretha song. It would be horrible.
I think what he was saying is be more selective. Be like Alex Preston used a big note last week and it caught everyone off guard because that's not him. He's more of this, he pulls you in these intimate performances, and we'll get into his 180 this week where he tried something different, and did it pay off? We'll find out. But it's you need to save those, make those a gift, a present, a surprise. You don't want to be predictable. But let's talk about last week, because we don't cover Thursday with the exit of Kristen O'Connor. I'm sorry, I'm jumping everywhere. I'm just passionate tonight.
Very.
Oh my God! Don't apologize.
Dios mío.
No, I will say this: their open last week, I thought was the best open they've had when they had the group song in years.
Yeah, because those things can get corny, and it was actually
good. Yeah. So I will say that I actually love the open. I wasn't shocked with Kristen's exit.
No, because I think that also goes along with pop music today. She's offering nothing different, and it's almost like the good R&B singer. Like, it's the white girl that can sing. We get it. Bye.
The big voice you're talking about.
But yeah, her voice isn't even that big.
Okay. All right. And any thoughts with Thursday before we move on to tonight's bizarre episode of Idol for us?
No, I liked her, but it wasn't unexpected.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's jump into it, and let's start with who was one of my favorites throughout the audition process, Gina Irene. Yes.
You know what? I'll go.
Please start off.
After watching the whole night, I'd say she was the best of the night.
Oh, really?
This song choice, because she's actually really good at picking songs for her voice and who she is as an artist. And Suddenly I See, I thought was good because it showed that she's a little more lighthearted and less like dark and edgy, which will appeal hopefully more to the masses. I thought vocally there wasn't anything super risky, but she took the song and she made it her own. There was nothing that I was like doing, because there was a lot of that tonight. She was consistent, good, not a huge risk, but overall the best from beginning to end performance.
I thought when I first heard that she was singing this song, I said, wow, that's such a great song choice. It's popular. It's just a nice song. It was in like 9 movies when it came out, from like Devil Wears Prada
That's
to,
what I was thinking.
yeah, to every other movie had it in there. And then she started singing it, and I realized it's kind of a boring song to perform live, and I didn't feel like she added anything to it that made it like fascinating. And I say that being a huge fan of hers. I think her voice is probably one of the best on the show. It's different, it's unique, and I really like her, but I wasn't impressed by this performance actually.
I think she's gonna fall into what Alex did tonight. I think Alex did something different. I think because we know that Gina can sing. I think she has a fantastic voice. I think she did a little experimentation. And I think this is what happens throughout the process of the show. They'll get judges' feedback, and sometimes they take it too much to heart. And the following week, they do an opposite performance from the week before, and it tends to get them in trouble. But I
hope she's safe, though.
Absolutely, I agree. I want to give her a pass.
I mean, I think she should be in the top like 3, but I honestly do not think she'll make it that far.
Really?
But this is why I think, I don't want to keep bashing on Idol as the show, but this is why Idol needs people helping them. Or at least that we see helping them, because Randy is not being like, hey, maybe this isn't the best song choice for you. And I actually did like the song choice, but I get what you're saying. It was kind of a mid-tempo song. Yeah. And like what Harry was saying, she should have gone all the way full-fledged energy with it. And she needs somebody on the team being like, hey, you're only 17. Why don't you try this? Because she's super talented.
Okay. And there's something like charming about her that you look at her, she's an interesting harsh look, but then she smiles and she has this massive smile and you're like, wow, she's so pretty
and genuine.
Yeah. And I really believe that's who she is.
And you can see her from week to week, the transition from like the Idol makeover. I'm starting to see like she's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, and I have to say too, she at least is somebody that we're seeing get progressively better. Even tonight, I thought she seemed more open on stage and more comfortable than she has in the past.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Although she wasn't like open and having fun like Harry Connick Jr. said, which I really think she could have had more in that song especially and done more. Her stage presence was one of the best. Super self-confident, like she just owned that stage.
She sure really
and we do have to give the contestants credit, because back when Kelly Clarkson was on or Carrie Underwood was on, social media wasn't like it is today.
Right.
These kids are getting eaten up alive on the internet. Like horrible, horrible things. So it is almost harder to go out there now and be original, because there's been so many of these shows and so many performances. But also, like, I mean, that's the industry today too, but there's so many mean things being said. So like to walk out there with your head held high is
absolutely
commendable.
And I think she was smart, although I said I didn't love the song choice. I think you have to be on these kind of shows just a smart performer that says, okay, it's home week, that's sentimental, it's a little bit sappy, there's gonna be a lot of ballads, let me sing something up-tempo to stand out.
Yep. And we got to represent for Michigan.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, Michigan is bringing it this season. Yeah. So, well, let's talk about Alex Preston. Now, Alex, who I think we've all been throwing verbal bouquets all season for the most part. I thought he took a step back, but I think, like the judges said, I think he'll be fine.
I also want to just side note, Alex is dating Jillian Jensen, if you didn't know. She
I think
tweets
that's
him.
so weird.
I know, it's like an Idol romance. For Alex's performance tonight, when he said he was singing this song, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see him do, something up-tempo and break out of his little, like, I'm a sad guitar player. And then he took the song and he slowed it down so much. And when he first opened with the guitar, I'm like, oh, he's going to kill this. But he seems so unconnected from the song.
Yeah.
And like he usually has amazing phrasing in his voice, and that was gone.
It just seemed a little amateur to me. It seemed like that high school, that group you go to in high school and you love them and you rock out, but you know they're never going to get beyond playing for like a crowd of 500. And like those like you know, just like those like little small time people that you really love in high school because it's cool and different and a little unproduced. Yeah.
I just still think even more so than Gina, I think he's going to allow himself to experiment a lot more than just about anyone else there in the competition.
But if you're gonna, because he is a super talented musician and he knows a lot technically, but if you're gonna do that, be good at it. Don't, you know what I mean? Like, he took this song, this super fun, catchy, upbeat song, and he made it boring and unconnected. And like, if he knows that much about guitar, he has to know about like phrasing in his voice, and everything was like so unconnected. I just said that again, but Just
I know what you mean. And I think that's because my biggest problem with Alex is that his face does not register emotion. So he's talking about how excited he is and how he cannot wait to get out there, and it's just like a dead face. And then he gets out there and he does it, and it's like nervous, and I don't think that he's like emotionless, and I think he's like genuinely feeling these feelings. But we always joke around about like resting bitch face syndrome. He just has like resting boring face syndrome, and he constantly looks boring, looks bored.
Okay, maybe I'll give you the last one. I would almost say, but he's a very light brooder, very light.
But I don't think that changes when you're like, if you're singing a song, you gotta be so expressive and like emotional and like tell the story. Sure. Whereas I don't think he realizes this. But I feel like I have the opposite problem where I'm excited and my face is like, yes, and then I'm sad, and like for him, I just see like a 3-degree change between emotions, and that's not what you watch performers on stage for.
Well, because if you think about the people doing super well in pop music right now, think about Miley Cyrus. Anything she's singing, if she's twerking, her face is showing it, or if she's singing Wrecking Ball and crying, you were like taken aback by it, because we've all grown up with MTV, and music isn't just something you hear now, it's very visual. So you have to sell that.
Yeah.
Even John Mayer, who just stands there and plays the guitar, is so expressive when he sings.
Okay, so, you know what, I forgot to say hello if you guys watch us live on AfterBuzzTV.com. Hello. But let us know what you think. Are we off? Are we just something in the air in LA? I don't know.
I don't think so from what I've read on Twitter, because everybody's feeling this way.
Okay. All right. So, and don't forget, if you watch us on YouTube and iTunes, comment, subscribe, let us know once again what you think. But let's get to a lightning rod, someone that we've gotten a lot of feedback with, and this is Jessica Meuse. And first off, I know we've been divided with her, because honestly, we've been hit as a whole, and I have not really voiced my opinion. I've actually haven't had a beef with her all season. I really haven't. As a matter of fact, I think she looks gorgeous. Like tonight, every week she looks prettier and prettier, and that's just my opinion. And her voice last week was fantastic. I wish I would have said that last week, because this week I think she took a step back.
She looks unrecognizable now with those hair extensions and her long hair.
Lost some weight.
Yeah, she looks more like fit, like svelte.
I think she looks great. I just think tonight, and they said she sounded sharp. That's the first thing I picked up. I think you were saying.
That's what her first like 3 seconds when the camera was zoomed back, and I'm like, because I was really impressed by her vocal last week. And I'm like, oh, she's going to come out and she's going to nail it. And then she started singing, and you're like, okay, are you Jessica? Are you Dido? Are you Jewel? Are you the Dixie Chicks? Are you going to sing on key? And it just kept getting progressively worse. And then it zooms in on her face, and she's also, same as Alex, so unconnected with the song. And it literally looks like she's like thinking about like, oh, I got to go to the grocery store after this and pick up this thing, and I need to call this person back. It doesn't look like she's in the moment. Okay. And I think that is what comes across as bitchy.
Sorry. I agree. And I think that just there's no color, there's no phrasing to her singing. I'm a big Jessica fan. I love country music, but she just sings it at like one like volume, and it does not vary. There's no variation in her singing, and that's a problem.
Could and I say this every week, and until I'm blue in the face, is she suffering from the Elise Testone syndrome, where she has to play the game? Be likable, because someone walked in while we were watching the show, and she wasn't a big fan of Jessica either, and she was a casual fan. And I said, well, why? What is she causing? Why are people so opinionated? I do see a big divide.
Well, not to cut you off, but I think that stems from the group week when she was like the queen bitch, which I'm gonna say. I didn't know if I should say bitch or not, so I thought I'd yell it. No, I think she was like the queen bee of group week, where she was like destroying groups and just causing drama. And after watching that, I was like, oh my God, this girl cannot last on the show. And yet she turns around. I'm like, wait, I really like her voice, but I cannot get that mental image out of my head of, oh my God, she's horrible to work with.
Which is why I think she's going in such the wrong direction, because if she was this horrible girl in Hollywood Week, I can say that's what's shown on the show. She should come out there and sing like Miranda Lambert, Gunpowder and Lead.
Absolutely.
Because when she sang a rock song last week, so good. And if she's like, hey, I'm this crazy girl with pink hair, watch me go. But she goes out there and tries to sing these sweet songs, and it doesn't go with who she is as a person. And she has an amazing rock voice. And if she would embrace that, and she can even do the country rock thing, I think she'd do so much better in the show. But I think that goes back to firing Randy, because she needs proper guidance.
Off with his head.
I love your Randy.
Yeah,
we do, dog.
Also, Dido has like the most bizarre and interesting sound to her voice. And if you're going to do that, you've got to change it completely and be just as interesting in your interpretation. And we did not have that tonight.
Okay. I mean, fantastic points. And honestly, I feel like I've been Team Spice for long enough. So I'm coming back. And we're going to probably disagree. I actually like Dexter Roberts.
Jeffrey's taking off his clothes if you're listening.
Oh my God, don't talk.
No,
Cue the camera away.
No, I'm serious. I really, I liked Dexter Roberts. Maybe it's because
Did you?
I did. Because maybe I'm judging him compared to last week.
Yeah.
Last week I thought he was nervous, and I thought the nerves were gone this week. He's the Idol package. He's part of Middle America. He's a sweet, likable guy. And the voice, he was confident this week. He lost me a little bit in the middle. But I thought it was so much better than last week. And maybe I'm at that point that I was so disappointed with tonight's episode that once I see a glimmer of hope, I just want to run with it.
I think that might have been the problem.
Okay.
Because while he was singing, and I actually like Dexter. I've been a fan of his the whole season. Something with his pitch was just not quite centered enough. It was like he was singing around it. And he needs, when he's talking as well as singing, he needs to enunciate. Because it was like, oh, no, and you're like, what? And luckily we have subtitles up while we're watching, so I know what he's singing about. But it sounded to me like somebody put the chord sheet in front of him for the first time and is like, hey, song switch, you're gonna sing Lucky Man, and it seems super unpolished to me. And I felt like, why didn't you practice?
Yeah, and it's such like a beautiful and emotional, just like solid country song. And for me, I did not get the story while he was singing it.
Jeff, I love that you're always looking for the story. It's almost like if we were doing like Dancing with the Stars. You're like Carrie Ann and Abba. You want the story.
Like
you want the
Keith
emotion.
Urban.
Yeah,
it's like why I hated American Hustle. I said, "Where's the story?" Like interesting characters, great, but why am I watching them?
Okay, no,
I think he's good, but not great.
All right. So you know what? I want to do something. I want to segue for a second just to show that I want to make this as positive as possible, and I'm going to put Jason Ikeler on the spot.
Okay.
Okay, Marissa, we see this. Okay, tell us 5 things about you in 20 seconds. We're keeping in the theme of Idol. Ready? Go.
I love Kelly Clarkson. I am not good with animals. I survive on coffee.
5 seconds.
I love Demi Lovato. And I'm a Cancer.
Okay, well done, well done. Just keeping in the theme. They do that throughout the whole season. So I love last week how they ambushed, Keith and Harry and then Ryan, and they even. So I thought I'd pass it on to us. Why not?
JC,
fun.
Oh boy,
it's your turn, baby.
And
go.
I was a bouncer at a country bar. I had long hair, 50 pounds heavier than I was. My favorite movie is Rocky IV.
Oh my God.
I'm a health nut and I love bacon. And
that was in 10 seconds.
Wow, he had that prepared.
I did. Honestly, I'm being honest.
Marissa, 5 interesting things in 20 seconds. Go.
No.
Okay.
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 Even better.
Moving on. We got to get through.
I'm far from interesting.
What? Don't say that.
You know what? I want to hear Jeffrey's.
Oh, we were going to shock him later on, so he can't be thinking about it right now.
Okay, we'll do it later. Okay, so Emily Piriz was next. How do you pronounce her last name?
Piriz.
Oh,
Okay,
whatever.
Emily, she is A, adorable.
Yes.
B, I'm happy she's trying to embrace her Latin culture. But she has sang so many different songs on the show that I have no idea who she is as an artist. And it's one thing to sing a bunch of songs and be super good at them and just be a great vocalist. But she sings certain types of songs well, and then other songs, you're like, what are you doing? And
So what was tonight?
Tonight, she was underpitched a lot. The outfit, which, if you're going to sing a song like that, this is a very, like, not sexual, but, like, a very upbeat song where what you're wearing, it's all about how you're moving. And that, like, outfit didn't go with the song, and she just didn't do it justice.
I agree.
But you wanted an upbeat song.
But I want an upbeat song done well.
Okay, going off what Jason said about her being adorable, I just think that she is a little too cute. And it comes across as amateur. If you are a rock star, if you are selling albums and I want to see you on stage, it's because like everyone wants to sleep with you.
Taylor Swift's cute.
But she's also like beautiful and like has this like, sex appeal.
But if you do cute, Taylor Swift does cute, and Taylor Swift is cute because Taylor Swift sings a song and everything she sings about, you're like, oh my God, when I was 17, that's exactly what I was feeling.
And then she sits at the piano and like rocks out and she says like, I want to destroy you, using like lyrics. And you're like, wow, like this girl can like beat you up.
And for Emily, it felt very like karaoke.
Yeah, put on, just like fake.
I had a rough time. The second I heard what she was singing, I was just like, to me, it almost seemed like a no-win for her. In a weird, very weird way, because she's young and extremely cute, extremely likable. I love her to pieces. But what if she butchered the song? You're butchering in front of the judge who sings the song. And then there's a saying, never outshine the master.
Yeah.
So what do you do? So I was like, I thought she put herself in a corner right off the bat. And to me, and it was not my favorite performance tonight. It was my least favorite of hers this season.
I agree.
And
well, because she's the one that we loved when she was sitting down at the piano and singing. And she needs to be making like a Sarah Bareilles type of record. And I think what she's doing is like confusing the audience.
I agree.
Is it her fault or is it the theme? You know, because
it's her fault.
They get so many themes and like, you know, what am I gonna do? You know, home is Miami, and that's not the artist she is. Like you said, right now, you're expecting a different.
But she could sing like a, I'm trying to think, like, take like a any. There's so many other songs.
Any song can be called home.
Honestly, like she could sing "Mama's Song" by Carrie Underwood or something, and like play that at the piano. Like there are things you can do to show off who you are as an artist. Especially, I think that's why Idol is making more generic themes this year, because
oh my God, thank God.
They like 70s week, okay, that's not relevant.
Right.
They don't do that anymore. And I think they're doing that because, okay, you can literally sing whatever you want. You just have to tell a story. Like, oh my God, my mom used to sing me this Britney Spears song every night before bed. Nobody knows.
Yeah, or like a love song, because it feels like home. Anything could have been home. I really agree with what you said about comparing it to J-Lo. Automatically, you're comparing the song to the artist who originally sang it, and then double fold when the artist is in the room. Because we're all looking at J-Lo being like, okay, what is she thinking? Does she like it? When really we should be concentrating on what the performance is and how good and or bad it is.
Well, and also J-Lo's not like a vocalist. J-Lo's a pop artist, meaning it's all about the production and the dance and the performance. And she didn't do any of that in the song, so automatically you're bored.
You know, and also, it's not the first time it's been done, but they tend to do it a lot later in the season. From my memory, you know, so I think it's just too early for her to pull something like that.
And J-Lo is the most beautiful and charismatic and sexy person with that combination. And when she's on stage, you just like want to like get up and dance with her, and just like it's like she's this amazing stage presence. And for me, Emily was lacking.
We're gonna get.
I feel bad, guys, because I genuinely do love Idol, but tonight was just not good.
It's reminiscent. I think was the last season was it Beatles week. It was just it was just something. It was one of those weeks that we were just off, and we just wanted to try to find great constructive things.
Do you think Idol will ever bring back? I hate to keep blaming Randy, but I like when they would bring in different artists each week to mentor them.
I don't think so. At this point, I don't think so. I mean,
I think that's gimmicky nowadays.
I think after tonight, though, they have to do something.
You think they'll react just like that, one swift swoop after 13 seasons?
I would. If I was a producer, I would be like...
But I feel like unless you bring in, like, for lack of a better person, Christina Aguilera, who's like this bombshell voice and a great coach, like, it's not going to make a difference. Or maybe... Like, Ellie Goulding isn't going to be a great mentor.
That's true, but maybe switch something up and be like, hey, this week Harry's going to help you.
I think
next
that'd
week,
be great.
J-Lo's going to help you. Next week, Keith's going to help you. Because all of them, even the advice they're giving, where Keith, I don't remember who he's talking to, but he's like, spin your guitar around when you're not singing. Like, little things like that can make or break a performance.
It's a fantastic tip. And even J-Lo, who said some nicer things tonight, I could tell that she was like, okay, Harry and Keith are saying harsher things. We need to spin this more positive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And speaking of Keith, why is America so concerned with Kris Jenner's gender identity issues when Keith Urban's hair looks like that? Can somebody tell me that?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
AfterBuzz Nation, let us know what you think.
Tweet at me, baby. I want to know.
Where can we tweet you?
Cut his hair. And speaking of haircuts,
at Jason Ikeler,
Caleb Johnson.
What? Now you're gonna attack the man's hair?
He needs a haircut.
He's a rock star.
I'm gonna go to Idol and cut everybody's hair.
Except for
that's my New Year's
Majesty.
resolution.
Isn't that sheer genius?
Okay, here's my problem with Caleb. Exactly what Harry said.
Yeah.
As soon as he said he was doing a Rush song, I'm like, why? But that's exactly what we expect from you. An up-tempo, old rock song that nobody watching is going to relate to. Is he an amazing vocalist? Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Is he a great performer? Yes. Is he boring? Not necessarily, but is he predictable? Exactly predictable. Every performance, if you put them back to back, feels like it's just one ongoing thing. Do a ballad, do something different, do something current.
I think he'll do a power ballad that's going to blow the doors off of.
But he reminds me at this point of Jack Black, and it's almost like a joke watching it.
Oh my God, yes, I 100% agree. That's what I wrote down. It does not seem serious. I mean, he's having fun, and that's so nice to see because a lot of people take it too seriously, but I feel like he's not taking it any bit seriously.
I agree. Like, I feel like he's like, I'm on Idol, this is a joke.
Yeah.
See, because I think he's on a separate class from everyone there.
But
vocally, yes.
But is he actually? Because if all you're doing is really good cover songs, the same in and same, are you that good, or are you just a really good imitator?
I will give you 100%. I'm there with you 100% on that one because that's what Harry was saying. How are you going to evolve? How are you going to change rock and roll? How are you going to make it progress? He has all the tools. So I think that it was a great analysis by Harry to really gut check him, to see what he can bring, to have him experiment like Alex did earlier tonight. He's got the capability. Let's see what he can come up with. Let's see. That's the X factor. Maybe he can't do that. That's another thing.
I mean, but then like what separates him from any other good karaoke singer?
I don't know.
I think he's great, but I agree. I wrote that good, not his best performance tonight. I didn't think it was his best. I just thought it was one note. I agree.
Okay, he's a fantastic vocalist, but we've talked to so many past contestants when they're after the show, they're like, oh my God, it's so hard. How do we get seen? How do we make an album? How do we get people to buy the album? How do we get people to enjoy the album? I do not see him putting in the fight and putting in like the time to do this.
Unless he's going to do like a Rush cover album.
Okay.
And yeah, what is that going to like sing at? Like the Pasadena County Fair.
Exactly.
And I think this is all fantastic what we're saying tonight because honestly, it's done out of like pure super fan love.
Well, and literally, I watch every single one of these shows.
Of course.
And I follow all the people from them. And you have to be so unique and original on the show, or just a super talented singer that you can throw in any form of music. And you can look at Jordan Sparks on the show. She was like a pop R&B singer, and you knew she'd put out a current album, but any song they threw her way, she sang it. And she's still making movies, she's still making albums, she's still getting interviews,
and her songs are still on the radio.
Yeah. And that's
which is crazy.
She like, maybe she's not like this super unique artist, but she can sing really well and she can make it her own, and he's not making it his own.
Okay. So speaking of uniqueness, should we, and I hate to say that, not with MK
is super unique though.
She is.
You know what? MK has, I love the tone in her voice, and I think it's super interesting. And she has a good voice, but she has like dead face
dead eyes, yeah,
when she's singing. And I don't know if it's nerves or what it is, but she seems so unconnected. And she needs to do an Ed Sheeran song first of all, where it's not as highs and lows. But she had the opportunity when the music picked up in this song, and then all the graphics were going to wail and give us this huge moment, and she didn't go with it. And I love MK. She's one of my favorites, but super disappointed in tonight.
And I wonder why the coaches behind the scenes did not say, this is the big moment, go for the big note. And if they had to pull away, then they should have been pulling away like 10 seconds before, because like the background music led up for a big moment, and she just kind of was like, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to just sing it now.
Which is so disappointing because she is super talented, and I think one of the people that, if she works this competition right, could actually have a career after the show, because there's not necessarily anybody doing what she's doing in mainstream music right now.
What is she doing?
The female Ed Sheeran. Have you seen her like other performances?
A few. Okay, here's the deal with her. I 100% disagree with everything you said.
Okay.
I really, really hated her performance as a performance. And I thought that the tone of her voice was so not pleasing to my ear. And at one point I was like, oh, I hate this so much. Let me close my eyes. Let me pretend like it's on the radio. And I really just did not enjoy any part of it at all. I do not think she belongs in a singing competition like this.
Really?
It's fantastic that you say that, Jeffrey, because we've had fans that they've gotten on our case about this. They say how blind we are. And I just want to welcome all sides of the argument. I am a fan of hers. I do like her. I don't know if I'm more enamored because of what she represents. And that blinds me slightly in my judgment. I like her voice. I thought last week she didn't have one of the stronger voices. And I remember I was, and just a point of honesty right here, and I told you, Jason, before we went on tonight, that I regretted not saying that one of the people that I thought would be in trouble would be MK last week. Because I love her story. I love what she represents, but vocally, I don't know if she's the strong. She has a beautiful tone, but I think there's some other artists. I think I want a little more... just more dynamics throughout the performance.
Oh, I agree. I think the talent's there. I think she just needs some coaching. And I like her playing the guitar, but if you're going to play the guitar, do it unplugged. You know what I mean? Do that. I want everyone to cover Taylor Swift songs in the show, but if she sang like White Horse by Taylor Swift next week,
sure,
where it's not a huge vocal song, but it's a super emotional song and she could actually connect to it, I think she would.
Even like Back to December, you know?
Something like that. But she has a problem connecting, but she needs somebody coaching her to say, hey, look in the mirror, think about what you're singing, every single phrase.
Our job,
and pick the right song.
I would say, and I want to piggyback off something you just said a few moments ago, Jeffrey, that I think we do take this very seriously. We invest a lot of time into the show and what we see. And I want to go a step further with what you said, that why didn't Randy or any of the coaches tell her to hit that big note?
Yes.
And from what we know from talking to other singers from the show in the years past, that this is a singing show, not a competition. And by saying that, they create a great show. What if they're holding MK back? What if they're holding for these moments? I know it's and I'm reaching for straws here because I'm trying to explore the show a little deeper here. That maybe next week we've planned this explosion for her. We've planned everything that you've said, Jason, throughout the weeks. We've planned like bringing in like an Usher type of vibe to her, bringing this so that she explodes to create a greater show, because ultimately this is a show.
But you know what? If you're that, sorry, go ahead.
A conspiracy theory here.
I'm not saying I could honestly see the producers wanting that to happen, but I think the risk of that, if it were to happen, is that they hold her back for so long, waiting for the explosion, and America votes her off, and there's no explosion, and she's gone.
Well, and I can bring up Kelly Clarkson because.
Oh, do you like her?
Yeah, she's all right. Or Jordan Sparks or Carrie Underwood or any of the people who have careers after this show. Every single performance, you go back and watch any one of their performances, and there was not one where you're like, oh, they did really bad that week. There was always something different. There's always a moment in the song. You have to have a moment in every song on the show. You can't do a mid-tempo song. But every single week they took something, they made it their own. You aren't going to make it in the industry. If you have a performance like that on an award show, you'll be eaten alive. You know what I mean?
True. Absolutely.
Or at least lip sync.
I mean, we had it in the Oscars. I think there were some polarizing views, I thought, with Adele Dazeem. Thank you. You know, you'll be eaten alive. Yeah. The stakes are higher. So, absolutely. I mean...
No, it's a great way to succeed in the industry, though.
A web page?
Using Squarespace to make a web page.
That's so funny because this episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Oh my God, I love them.
It's an all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own website or online portfolio. And for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, you can go to squarespace.com and use promo code American Idol.
I actually did go on the site this week.
Finally.
I know. I really did.
How was it?
It was super easy to use, and I told you I'm about as sharp as a spoon when it comes to computers. So I literally played around with it a little bit, and I didn't do anything besides play around the menu, but I definitely see the ease in use where it doesn't matter if you're 8 or 80, anyone can use it.
Well,
which end of a spoon?
That's a really
moving
good
on.
Well, and what's cool too is if it does get confusing, they have 24/7 help. So you just send them a little message. You're all good to go.
And what's the code again?
American Idol.
Oh, cheeky. Also, the designs are really cool.
Yes. Now, we have to move on to an interesting performance, and I'll say the least. And unfortunately, it wasn't because of who was performing. It's because who we had running around the studio at the time.
Oh.
CJ Harris. And who do we have running around?
Tadra Call.
Jeff Masters.
Jeff Masters and Tadra Call was in the studio commenting on everything. So we got a little distracted. We had to go back and rewatch it.
Who we're gonna, hopefully we can get him in the future. We'll do our best, but he, definitely he was checking out, what he thought, and he was asking us our opinions, and we just tell him like, tonight, just not
good. Well, CJ, when he first started, I'm like, okay, this is nice to see CJ do a more current song and not like a, I don't know, like
granny
a super
song.
granny raspy song. But he is so pitchy. He's consistently pitchy, and he doesn't sing a song. He attacks it, but not in a way that's like powerful, in a way that it's like, oh my God, like calm down, homie.
I have to say I liked it. I'm a fan of CJ's. I also like Ice Cream, Walks on the Beaches, Rainbows, Unicorns, and My Versa. I think that he has a cool, interesting tone, and what I really appreciate about his voice, or his performance, him in general, is that he enjoys singing and singing on stage, and that joy comes across in his performance.
But my grandpa enjoys singing. That doesn't mean it's good.
Okay, but MJ doesn't. I'm sorry, MK. Nobody else, they look so nervous and uptight, and they don't enjoy it, whereas CJ does.
He does, but like, I think he does in a way where it gets in the way of his technique, because every single one of his phrases fall off at the end. He doesn't sing a whole like sentence consistent. At the end, you're like, oh, you're running out of breath. You're going to get a little raspy, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, Siege.
I'm trying to remember when we were talking about CJ, because we did watch it twice. And one thing, I don't know where I got this from, but I wanted to see him like in the future, like rap a Hootie and the Blowfish song for some reason. Because trying to get him out of the box, trying to do something different.
Oh, what's the main singer's name on Hootie and the Blowfish?
Darius Rucker.
Yes, he sings that song, That Smile.
Yeah.
That'd be a perfect song for CJ.
I think that's actually an Uncle Cracker song.
No, there's
Make me smile.
No, it's a different song. Came out like last year.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's called That Smile. I think it was Darius Rucker's. If not, it's somebody else doing country. It's just like, I think we watched CJ's performance twice because we wanted it to be better than it was.
I agree with that. Because he does have a likable quality when he's singing.
Yeah.
But I don't think he compares. I'm assuming if he put out a record, it would be like a country record. And I don't think he compares to anybody making country music right now.
That's because there's nothing like new that we've heard before.
Yeah. And he's not, if he was just a great vocalist with that smile and that great energy, I would be like, oh, 100% for him. But the vocals aren't there. So it's like, he's fun to watch and he's good for the show. Mm-hmm. But if I was at a record label, I wouldn't sign him.
I could see him having a difficulty getting signed. It's true, because you want that it factor, that X factor, Oh, no pun intended. But I do want to move on because I know we spent so much time, and I want to move on to someone who I said it a few weeks ago. How do you not vote this person your next American Idol? Not because of his vocal quality, of just the overall package. White guy with a guitar, great guy. The girls every week say he's like an angel. How do you say no to Sam Woolf?
To me, he has the same problem that MK does, where MK and Sam are two of my favorites on the show.
Right. He
has the voice, he has the tone, he's so unconnected. So unconnected. When he's singing, he just looks scared shitless. And why would anybody say, yeah, do that song? It was a horrible song choice.
I agree.
Okay, good.
No, I agree it's a bad song choice, but I really like Sam. I think he's got one of the best voices on the show. And he's unconnected. Yes, I agree with that, but I still like him because I can make the excuse that he has had no life experience whatsoever to draw from. So he's just singing about, like 8th grade problems and how he like flunked algebra.
But if we're going to talk about Taylor Swift on the show, she got signed when she was 14, and if you watch one of her performances, maybe not the best vocally, but she sure as hell is connected to everything she's saying.
Yeah.
I think it's his timidness. He's had that throughout the whole series.
And that's why they need good mentors on this show or something to kick it up a level, because all the performances are not there.
Also, like Malia Obama, Malia. What is it?
Malia Watson.
Malia Watson Obama. She just seemed another one that was a little bit shaky, a little like amateur performance to me.
And I thought too that this. Are we going to talk about her now?
Yeah. Oh no.
Sorry.
We got to speed through these.
This was a great song choice for her. It's always good to do.
Are you kidding me?
It's always good to do a gospel song on Idol because you get the Christians everywhere voting. They love to vote.
That's not.
But if you're gonna sing the song, sell it to me. She had the same problem as CJ where she ran out of breath on every single note. She was consistently under pitch. And this is a song, too, that has the opportunity to build and be this super powerful thing. And she lost it.
I'm sorry, but I do not want this to be prejudiced, but you cannot sing church songs on a big show like this where all of America's voting.
Joshua Ledette.
I know, whatever. I know that the middle America's voting, but like when you get out of here, if you're still singing church songs, you'll have a successful career like Mandisa, but you're never going to be on the radio.
I think you can. I agree with that. Like, don't make that sort of album if you want to be mainstream. But the people that vote on this show, the people that watch the most, the people that are the most active, are God-fearing Christians who, you know what I mean? Like my parents love the show. My whole family back home loves the show. Nobody that you meet out here in LA watches the show. And those are the people that are voting. You know what I mean though, besides us.
Yeah. No.
It's a family show. I think it's smart to sing.
Okay.
Really? She just comes off as untrained to me.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying it was a good performance.
We will continue this conversation on Twitter and YouTube. We'll definitely make a note of answering because we got to move along. Let's move to Ben Briley, who, what?
He looked like he just rolled out of bed when he was singing.
That's Ben Briley.
Okay, but I'm sorry. You were on American Idol. So step up your game. And he sounded like he just rolled out of bed. There were good parts, but overall it was just sloppy.
I'll say this. It was fine. It was fine.
You feel like you remind me of Simon now. Like, do you remember the performance, Jeffrey?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I figured.
But I don't remember like hating it. I remember loving it. I just remember it vaguely.
It's nothing wrong with that. But the reason I ask is because you want to remember the performances.
Yeah.
So I've had such a difficult night tonight watching it, and when I heard him open his mouth, I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. I just want something big. We
all were like hoping tonight for a big moment where we're like.
Yeah, you want him to be better than he is.
Consistently underwhelming.
Yeah, so let's finish up with Majesty Rose, Fix You.
This is literally what I was like, the pivotal moment. Like, they saved it till the end, 20 seconds in. I'm like hanging on her every word. And then they got to the tears fall down your face.
Right.
She didn't sing that. She tried to wail. She's not that kind of singer. And she could not wail because she was flat the entire time as soon as she started doing her own thing.
Especially on the big note.
Yeah.
And we all cringed, I think, simultaneously.
It was laughable, and she's so cute, and I love her. But that, like, you should be ashamed if you're singing like that in the top 12 on American Idol.
She's a good example of somebody that you love, but I did not love this performance.
Yeah, exactly.
She shouldn't have done the ending. However, we always say that you need to have a moment in every song, and she almost had one.
I think she had a moment. Maybe it's just because I'm being so lax tonight. In the beginning, because I thought the beginning was beautiful.
Oh, it was wonderful.
The beginning was so good, but also I didn't really necessarily like the arrangement of the song. It felt too rushed the way she did it.
Okay, so let us know.
She was still one of my favorites.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
And you could tell if you rewatch the performance after she finished up, she was gesticulating in a certain way, like she was making these odd faces, like she knew something was wrong, that she didn't finish strong. Just look at it, and I couldn't figure out what she was trying to tell us with her face. She's like, that wasn't right. I didn't feel good about this. You know, when you have that instant performance, that face, and you're like, I screwed up. I picked that up. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I agree with what you mean.
But okay, so we got to get out of here. So let's do a little quick predictions. We're running late,
and now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
And of course, before I ask you who's going home, who was your favorite? Do you have a favorite tonight, guys?
I would say the beginning of MK and Majesty's songs, like for the first 10 seconds, were my favorite. Can I say that?
I don't know if I have a favorite per se, but I will predict Abracadabra that Majesty will be in the top 2.
Okay. So top 2 favorites of the night?
No. Top 2 overall, the F1 finals.
I think Idol needs somebody like her to win.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And I was feeling that during her performance. I feel like, J-Lo said it throughout the season that America's ready for a change, whether that be MK or someone like Majesty, someone outside of the box. I loved her beginning too. I was going to say the same thing. If I was giving like parts of performances, I would say Majesty, but unfortunately, it was one note. I have to give it to Caleb.
Overall performance, I'd give to Gina.
I like Gina. I also like Sam, but Sam wasn't a great tonight.
Okay, so who's going home?
Everybody?
No, one person goes home.
I would pick MK. I really, really did not like her.
I think I would send Dexter home.
Dexter, wow.
He's not going anywhere.
And it's funny that you say that. I will not be surprised if MK goes home because of how this... we don't get, like when you make votes, when we voted for president, we don't necessarily know who you're voting for when you're in that box. And when we're at home making those votes, no one knows who you're truly voting for. And I think America, there's still a divide, unfortunately, socially.
Yeah.
And I do see that.
Which is unfortunate if that plays a part in why she goes home, because I think there are way worse singers than her in the competition after tonight.
Yeah, and so for me, it was hard tonight, and it's tough because she's young, and it's hard to send the young one home. Emily.
I was going to say Emily as well.
I think Emily. So that does it tonight for I call it a controversial episode. So, Jason, where can they find you?
You can send all your hate to me on Twitter and Instagram at Jason Ikeler.
And I'm on both of those social networks as well. I tweet from Jeff Masters 1.
And Jeffrey, thank you. I always call you Jeffrey. Jeff, thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure, guys. Haircuts for everybody.
Yay! And you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. So for Marissa, and wait, Marissa, where can we find you?
You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
Very nice. So for Marissa, Jason, Jeffrey, I'm JC. Jeff. We'll see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.